Hi guys, welcome to this video in which we will look at the buzzing terms around data. So namely data analytics, data science and machine learning. And we will try to figure out what is the correct career path for you based on your interest and education. So data mining happens first. It is a procedure of uncovering useful patterns in one or more data sets. The amount of data that you have to go through to find something may be huge, and that is why it's called data mining, referring to the mining of any gold or diamond in a big rock mine. So that is where the term data mining comes from. So data analytics is the next step of working with data. Analysts need to remove redundant data, clean it, sort it, process it, and then transform the data set to reveal the underlying trends or currents or help the business leaders take a decision. There is often user data involved in data analysis or data analytics, where mostly commercial purposes are solved using data analysis. So if we look at this Venn diagram, basically you have business domain expertise, maths and statistics, and computer science. So generally, before data analytics, we used to use traditional software, which used to rely on if-then-else statements, database queries to do computations or to rely on making decisions. And then data analytics came in, where the data was sorted, arranged, cleaned, processed, and most probably given as a visual representation to business leaders to make a decision for the upcoming year or month or make a strategic decision. So this is where data analytics comes from. The next step is data science. So data science implies that there is a science intensive task going on. It's a research question where you are trying to solve or answer a serious problem that you can by extracting insights from key data sources. So not just checking all the data that is available to us, finding that key data that can help you solve a problem or that can help you make informed decisions, not just seeing the trends, but why the trends are happening, and to uncover the prediction or the outcome at a later point of time. So examples are identifying or predicting diseases and providing personalized healthcare for users or patients in a hospital or a clinic. And these tasks usually involve a lot of data. So not just by seeing one set of data, it generally involves combining a lot of data sets together and seeing them as a whole entity by the data scientist. So data scientists, as you can imagine now, are in charge of designing and implementing mathematical algorithms based on statistics, machine learning, or any other methodologies that allow companies to use tools and provide them with the grounds to act one way or another. So any kind of mathematical or algorithmic technology that or tool that will allow them to make informed decisions, not just going by trends or predictions or risk analysis or just predicting data. It is based on key data sources that you have identified, the key data sets, the key fields, the key mappings that have been identified in the data. So it's also not just about obtaining information from the circumstances and timing. So it's not just plain time series data. It is making sense of the time series data. So data scientists are also given the task of ensuring the detected patterns are visualized correctly so that they are clear and legible by those who can make decisions on that said data. So basically referring to the business leaders at the top who can make decisions based on these data, so that the data scientists visualize them correctly and they are able to read them correctly. So that is where data science comes from. So if you go back to the Venn diagram, you can see the combination of computer science, business domain expertise, and maths and statistics is data science. Now, one of the tools that data scientists use to analyze data is machine learning, where a computer is expected to build a model or use a model to analyze the data and predict the outcome or tell what the outcome can be. Now, this can be time series data, it can be supervised learning, unsupervised learning, or even reinforcement learning, and using any machine learning or deep learning concepts. So all of this comes under machine learning. So whereas the data analysts are only domain and mathematical experts, that predict trends for business decisions, they don't build any new mathematical or algorithmic models. This is what data scientists do. Machine learning engineers or machine learning comes in when data scientists uses a programming language such as R and Python to clean and process data and use the computer models and run these models on top of the computers to predict the outcome. So data science is like the overarching thing in this data term where everything can be referred to as data science, but actual data scientists actually are expert in all three domains: maths, computer science, and the business domain knowledge. They can then analyze and build actual mathematical models which can be implemented using mathematical formulas or algorithmic models using machine learning, which can then provide data in a visual format. So in practice, that means that data scientist is more talented at creating new models, analyzing and interpreting the data, understanding the mathematical basis for the models, and he and she also will most likely come from a statistical background. Some might even have a PhD, and they will always be really good at math, while they would have just learned programming to actually work with the data that is available now with computers. An ML engineer, on the other hand, or machine learning engineer, will shine at building and optimizing data flows. So basically connecting that data, providing it to the model, putting them in production, and he and she will be most likely will be from a computer science background and who can also understand the data infrastructure, how cloud works, how data can be stored, how it can be moved securely, how to store data at rest, how to store data in transit. So basically an ML engineer is better at data infrastructure than a data scientist, but he is also better than data engineers or data analysts at machine learning because he is from a computer science background. So now why I think machine learning engineering is the future is because we see that a lot of companies have hired data scientists. So if we go to the state of data science, we see right from 1995 where there were only 44,000 people in LinkedIn who had put their titles as data scientists. Now in 2015 there were almost 11,500 people, and this data has really exponentially grown over the last years. And now even if you see the education that they had at that time, almost 80% of them had masters or a PhD at senior and chief data scientist level. And a data scientist, as we figured out using the definition, is that they are always supposed to be good at math because they need to understand the model before they create it. Even if they're using a model, they should know the mathematical basis for it. So you need to have a structured degree in mathematics or a very good mathematics background. So that is where the ML engineering comes in, who does not need to know exact details about the mathematical basis, but he needs to understand how to move the data, how to use that model. Because all the companies have a lot of data scientists now. Most of these data scientists are mostly doing data analytics role, predicting risk, predicting trends, predicting sales forecasting, sales analysis, marketing reports, all this stuff. This can actually be done by data analysts themselves. You don't really need a data science to do that. And most of these problems are redundant, which means all the companies are hiring similar people to do similar type of jobs in parallel. Even inside companies, there are different organizations which are doing same redundant work. At later point of time, all this work is just going to be redundant and one of them is going to be chosen. And then you won't need so many data scientists because the models would have already been built. The better model will survive, the bad model will be thrown out, and that is how it works. So, and even if you see the big cloud providers like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, they are coming up with ML production toolkits, which means that if they are already providing you the models, you just have to plug in your data and you will have the output ready. You don't even need to understand or build those models. You just need an ML engineer to come and hook up your data with those models and your ML output is ready. So why do we really need so many data scientists? And for people who are coming from computer science background and who have been working as software engineer, it is much more amenable, or it is much more easier for them to go the ML engineering way rather than the data scientist way, because you will spend years or even months learning the statistical data, learning mathematical models, and then you will be able to start learning data science in production. You will be able to build models, while data scientists who are already there have already perfected their models. So these models are already there. Why does everyone need to reinvent the wheel when there are big cloud companies who are just providing the same models affordably? So this is the same problem that happened when most of the companies were installing IT infrastructure in their own campuses. Everybody had servers, everybody had a big IT team, and suddenly these cloud providers came in, offering the same, you can say, expertise and the same simplicity of having the IT infrastructure in the cloud without having any of the headache. And everybody moved to cloud one way or the other, sooner or later. The same is going to happen now. If the models are already being built by the best brains on the planet by these big companies, most of the companies are just going to pivot to use these models from these cloud providers. And you would only need an ML engineer to do that. You don't really need data scientists everywhere. You still need data scientists for some of the critical roles and for companies who are solving really complex problems. But for the normal average level companies or average working companies with average problems, the cloud solution will suffice. So that is why I feel that machine learning engineering is the future. So after listening to me, if you are still here and you want to follow the steps to become a data scientist or an ML engineer, I have these two links which you can look at. So this is the link for becoming a data science course. It has really a list of good courses and things that you really need to become a good data scientist. And this is the article which really I have been covering in this video, and it has the steps for really becoming a good ML engineer. So all of these links are in the description. Please do go through them and let me know how you like the video. Thank you for watching.